If you're Minnesota, you're a piece or two away.
If you're Tim Connelly, you're looking at this as it's a challenge to see what are the right buttons, like Siakam getting traded to the Pacers.
Something as small as that.
The Thunder going for Caruso and Hartenstein, and now they go to the finals. Like, what are the pieces? Press the right buttons.
Because you could have said the same thing last year when OKC lost. You could be like, man, is this just an example of just like, they're just not good enough? You need to read it. No, man. You've gone to the conference finals 2 years in a row. Clearly, you have some good intel and a good team. You're a piece or two away. So to Anthony Edwards' comments, I'm not far off of it because in outright, he's right. It's like, yo, we're okay. We lost. We're not getting any hardware, but we're close. We got to the conference finals.
But the flip side to that,
my problem is you let Tim Connelly say that. Tim Connelly's the president. He's putting the team together. He could come out if he does interviews. He doesn't really do them. Yeah, that's like a Nico thing. Like Nico has like private. We don't do anything scary. It's fucking weird interview. I don't know what that shit is. That is where Tim could come out and be like, hey, listen, we fell short 2 years in a row, but we're here. We've gotten to the conference finals twice, which tells us we have something. We have a lot that's working. We have a lot. Just a couple pieces away. So whether that's maybe adding more guard play, maybe adding this up, down low, whatever the case may be that we need to fine tune, I'm not going to throw out suggestions because I don't want to start saying about certain names that need to be traded. It's too premature for that. They are a piece or two away. I have an idea on how they could thrive and be better. For one, there needs to be another dominant ball handler in that team.
So Mike Conley is probably not the guard to go against this young OKC defense with all these guys.
Mike's fantastic. It's all about timing. If you had Mike 5 years ago, I'm not even saying Mike in his prime. I'm not saying Memphis Mike because that's just ridiculous. Even Mike 5 years ago would have been just enough.
Yeah.
At this point, they need to go get a guard who can take the ball to Ant's hands and be like, yo, slow down and have that respect. And a guy who can go off the dribble and create other than him. He needs one other guy. If you haven't seen, why is OKC so good? They have their main ball handler. They have their main star who closes the games. We know that, Shea. There are 7 other guys on that floor that can get their own bucket. He could throw the ball to Jalen. Jalen Williams had 30 last game. Ant needs someone like that. And it can't come through the post. I love Julius. I'm not one of these guys who are like, Julius can't win. Julius plays loser basketball. Bro, Julius propelled the Knicks to a hell of a season last year, and he was part of a team this year that went to the conference finals. Clearly, Julius Randle can be a part of winning basketball. He hasn't won a ring yet, but clearly he can play a style of brand that can get you far in the playoffs, meaning they're only one round away from the finals. So this isn't like people are so hard on Julius. I understand he's not playing that well right now in the playoffs. He's been up and down. But like Julius has contributed enough to where you could put the consensus together that he can play winning basketball. My thing is Julius next to Ant. It's always been this. And then they started playing really well as a team, and everybody's like, can't stop them. And then they ran into a team that like really defends, and it's just been nasty. Okay? I would rather, instead of having a second star being a forward, so it's not a Julius thing, it's a position thing for me. I would rather him be paired with another guard. I'd rather Ant be with 7 guards on his team and then just get a couple lob threats down low who could just run and jump. I like Rudy. Rudy gets paid a lot. You could use that to go get like a decent big man who can run and jump and a guard and a pick. I don't know what his value is, but maybe not that anymore. But still, I would rather have Ant with like 6 or 7 guards and then a couple wings and a couple just, all you have to do is rebound, block, and I don't need a star center. I don't need a star power forward. I already got Naz Reid anyway if I need some scoring. Just go get you a guy who can fucking run and jump and block. Remember how like Clint Capella was with Houston? Go get you something like that. A guy who can run, pick, roll, and be a gazelle on the rim and contest at the rim. That's it. Preferably, you could go out there and trade for maybe a big who has stretch shooting capability, but now we're getting greedy. All right, there's only so many of those in the league. You're not just going to go find a Miles Turner. That's not going to happen, all right? But I want him surrounded by guards. The reason I say guards is, why is Halliburton so effective? You can't double him. He always has space. You want to know why? The other guys on the floor are all weapons. And the way they play, you can't double him. Look at Ant. He does all this with 3 people on him. Could you imagine if Ant had like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I'm not saying the numbers work. Okay, so for the people in the comments, he has one more option. I'm just hypothetically. Julius Randle for DeJounte Murray. People would be like, what? DeJounte Murray would be a guy, first off, can play on both sides of the ball. He used to be a fantastic defender, still has it in him. Can create his own play and initiate offense. Imagine if DeJounte was just tacking downhill, drove, kicked it to Jaden McDaniels, drove, kicked it to Ant. Now Ant's catching it on the go, and no double team. Go. Don't settle. Go. You couldn't guard them. You need guards attacking.
It's the opposite of the way they played against OKC
right now,
with Julius Randle and
Julius
Anthony
is
Edwards.
sitting there and backing down. They double. They throw it to Ant. It has 10 seconds left. They're sitting there waiting. It's hard, man. It's so hard for them to score in OKC. It's not a Julius thing. It's the position that's placed next to Ant. I don't like it. It's the same reason they got rid of Karl, essentially. I mean, Karl was even more fitting. Karl could at least stretch and shoot the 5. It just doesn't make sense. I would try to move Rudy, and again, this isn't a Rudy thing. Rudy's just older now. I would try to move Rudy. I'd try to move Julius, and I would try to get guards and wings that can all attack and drive. We're going to get a gang around you. You're not going to be a guy having the ball in your hands all fucking game. It's too easy to guard. We are going to get a team. That's why the Knicks also don't need to make it. Can you imagine Brunson in the finals versus OKC? They'd swarm him. We need Indiana versus them. That way it'll be a good series. Not to mention Brunson's on his last leg, man. This guy's given everything he's possibly been able to give. He's been fantastic in the playoffs. That's what Minnesota needs. That's why they're only a piece or two away. And they have assets. But they have like Rob Dillingham, just came off the bench yesterday, all type of shit. Don't even play him. They're fine. That's why, like, what Ant's saying is the truth. I just don't like it coming from him. Tim Connelly can come out and be like, yo, we've made the conference finals 2 years in a row. We are loaded. We have a lot of talent. We have one of the best stars in basketball, and we have assets that we can trade. We are going to figure out the pieces that we need, and we're going to put it around Ant. Personally, I'm putting more guards around him. Yes, I said that. More. Look what's winning. Look what's in the finals. You need guys who can put the ball on the floor to make a play for others.
Even last year in the finals, Luka and Kyrie together. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That's the finals last year.
You need guys who
this
can
year
create.
Will be Thunder Pacers, it looks like. A bunch of guys that could do it.
That was the idea, and it's been disappointing. I'm not trying to call names because he's a great player. Good player. I'm not going to say great. That's stars are. That's why they brought DiVincenzo over. That's why that was a big trade. When they got Julius, they're like, yo, we're also getting DiVincenzo. This guy who can make a play. He's scoring like 20-something in the playoffs. The Knicks hasn't really been that.
Yeah.
Like him and Nikhil have been good, but they've actually played Nikhil more than DiVincenzo half the time. It's like they don't have that. They need another guy who can bring the ball up, who can have the ball in their hands and be like, yo, we've got a couple bad shots in a row, and just watch out. Let's run something here. I'm going to come off. I'm going to initiate. Give you a break. That's what they need. So we'll see what happens. The comment made by him, the reason I don't like it coming from him is it screams that like, and this isn't the truth. Obviously, he's hurting, but like you want to hurt after you lose, man. You got to the conference finals twice, and you didn't go to the final.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm good. Like people don't want to hear that shit, man. I know that's probably not the truth, and I know it's like a deflection thing, and I know he does care because he's a talented, competitive athlete. But they don't want to see you doing the dances like this when you win and all the stuff he does when they're beating the Lakers and the mocking. And then when you lose, you're like, I don't think I play bad. I just think, they give me, I don't really care. I'm good. I'm 23. That's not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd rather him be like, man, this has been tough, man. We've lost 2 years in a row. We've came short. There's things that I need to do to learn to be a better leader and player. And then our team has to take these steps. I'm definitely looking, this is all going to be a part of my chip on my shoulder. And he did say, I'm going to be the hardest working guy this summer. That's what I want you to hear. Don't say we're good. I'm 23. I feel bad for Mike. Damn. First off, Mike over there like, yeah. Like, it's shit. You don't got to say it.
Also, the other thing we talked about actually before the pod started is there's no guarantees. When Devin Booker lost against the Bucks in the finals, I remember him looking at it all and going, damn, I don't think he thought that he wouldn't be going back the next year. You know what I mean? You don't always get that opportunity. I remember when the Magic lost to the Lakers in the finals against Kobe, Dwight Howard was watching it. They watched the celebration and stuff like that. They were probably thinking, yeah, we're just going to go back next year maybe. It just doesn't happen all the time like that.
Yeah,
these years aren't guaranteed. Look at Jason Tatum. The Celtics will put that in the next 5 titles.
It's a great example. And that's why that's what I'm saying. Like that attitude is like, let the president say these things.
Yeah.
He's not the one playing. He could say, hey, we've made the conference finals 2 years in a row. We're a couple pieces away. This isn't a restart. We're right there. We're just right away. We're a couple players away, and we have assets, and we're young, and we're talented. So we have time, but we got to make some moves. Done. Ant saying, I'm 23. We good. You just don't know Ant. Look at Tatum. Boston thought they were going to go to the finals 7 years in a row. Great example with Phoenix and Book and Chris and Bridges and Cam. Everyone's like, man, this young core they ain't going anywhere. This Phoenix team's good. Look at them, bro. The league changes drastically fast. It just does. With an injury, with a player not being unhappy, or with a player being, with a player being unhappy, with a player wanting a trade or more money or this or that. There's so many different circumstances that aren't promised and aren't guaranteed in life, let alone basketball, for you to just be like, we're good. You're not good. Because you've lost 2 years in a row in the conference finals. Now, the reality is your team is a very talented team, and you guys are only a piece or two away. So, yes, I believe Minnesota could be right back here next year and might even have enough to get over the hump and go to the finals. So I'm not one of these guys that they need a blood. No, they need to trade a couple pieces to add around Ant for sure. Just I don't like when the player himself, let the front office do that. Player, take accountability, give credit to the team that's winning, that won, and be like, hey, we'll be back next year and we got to get better, man. That's it. Don't be like, I'm good. I'm 23. I feel bad for Mike. Damn. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, wasn't my favorite thing to hear.